Hi guys, so are you ready to be making our swaddled baby doll? The next step is to create the arms and also to add the trims to the arms. This is a step by step. You're going to be using the 2 crochet sizes. Don't forget, if you have any questions or any comments, leave it in the comment section. And let's go ahead and do the arms, and we're going to also attach them. Before I start crocheting, I'd like to make sure I have everything that I need in front of me, starting with my yarn, the colors I'll need, pair of scissors, stitch marker, crochet hooks, yarn needle, also pencil and eraser, a copy of my pattern. To get started, we're going to be using the yarn that we just made the body with, also the skin color yarn. We need our 3.5 and 4mm hook. So let's start with our skin color and also our 3.5mm hook. Let's start with row 1. Let's do our magic ring. With 6 single crochet inside. Don't forget to close your loop, but not too tightly. Row 2, we start with a single crochet, followed by 4 increase, and then a single crochet to give us 10 stitches. This is our first single crochet. Don't forget the stitch marker. And then we increase 4 times. This is our first increase. Second increase. Our third increase. And this is our fourth increase, followed by a single crochet, stitch, and this should give us 10 stitches if we count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have our 10. We're going to continue to row 3. In row 3, we do 3 single crochet followed by an increase 2 times, and then we do 2 single crochet to give us 12 stitches. One, two, 3, and then an increase. 1, 2, 3, another increase. And then we do 2 single crochets. 1, 2, because we have 2 stitches left. 1, 2. So this should give us our 12 stitches. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we did it. So now we're ready for row 4. Row 4 is very simple. It's 12 single crochets. Let's do that. 1, 2, 2, 3, 12. If you've noticed, when I crochet, I'm doing yarn over instead of yarn under. I decided to do it that way because yarn under is not necessary, but it does give you a tighter project at the end, but it's not necessary. For our row 5, we need to change yarn color. So I need to go to my other yarn and use my 4mm crochet. The way that I'm going to do it, I'm going to go back and I'm going to start my change color on the last stitch of my row 4. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this yarn. I don't need it anymore. Put it aside. Grab this. And I'm going to start my color change right like this. Just like I did before. This is where I'm going to change my hook size because it does ask for 4mm, and this is my hook size. Now, what else do I need to do for row 5? Row 5, again, it's 12 stitches, but we're going to stitch the back loop only. Remember, if you look at a stitch is made of 2 loops. This is the one closest to you is your front loop, and the one farthest to you is your back loop. So you're going to only grab the back loop like this. Okay, so let's get started, and we do 12. Okay, don't forget to pull. Okay, so that one is my first one, and it needs a stitch marker. And then we continue. Two, 3. Make sure to only look at your stitch carefully, and make sure to only grab the back loop. So once I have all of the stitches made, I want to make sure I've got 12. So I will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I do. The next step I want to do is to make sure that my stitches are secure. So the tail, I'm going to pull a little bit, and then I'm going to make a double loop to secure them. Well, a double knot, I should say. And then cut the remainder. I always leave a little bit of the tails, and then I just push into the work. One more thing I like to take care of is this tail also, so I just pull it, and then I will sew this tail inside the work. So once I believe it's secure, I just cut off. And then I turn my work around like this, so it's facing me. I remove my stitch marker and I'm ready for the next row. So our next row is row 6. Row 6, 5 single crochet followed by an increase twice to give us 14 stitches. Oops. And don't forget to grab the right 4mm crochet. So that's 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you increase. Start over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you increase. So this is our 14 stitches. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I do have my 14. So the next rows are row 7 to 21. And it's basically just 14 stitches all around. One. Place your stitch marker, and then you do 14. And what I like to do is I like to take my pattern, and each time I do a row, I write it. So once my row 7 is done, I'll go 7 on my paper, write it down, and I know that 7 is done, and then I'll just continue up until I do 21 rows. Okay, so now that we have all 21 rows completed, it's now time to stuff. So take some stuffing, and you're going to add just a tiny bit at a time up to the end. Stuff it firmly, but not so that the arm is bulgy. We just want to add just enough. Okay, so this looks like just right. We need to close and sew the arm. The way to do this is we press the top so that the stitches matches, and then we're going to do 7 single crochet across, going through both layers. So take your time. Make sure you're grabbing both layers, and then you complete your single crochet. So that's the first one, and then go to the next. So that's 3. 4, 5. Oops. Again, take your time. Look closely at the stitches. 6, and then our last is in the corner right here, which is the hardest to grab. There we go. And we have our closed arm. So this is how it looks. Now it's time to fasten off, and we're going to leave a long tail to be able to sew the arm on the body. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap this for later. Our next thing we need to do is we need to add the trim. So we add the trim using the smaller crochet hook. I'll grab my 3.5 with the white yarn. So remember on rule 5, we grab the back loop. Now we're going to use the front loop that is here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to attach the yarn. So grab any, you can grab any loop, that's fine. Take your white yarn and pull it through. Keep this tail out. You do a chain. Then you go through the same front loop and you do a single crochet. And then you chain 2, which is 1, 2. Now go to the next. Now, while I'm doing this, I will also grab my tail to secure it as I do my trim. So another single crochet followed by 2 chains, and then you go to the next front loop. And take your time. Sometimes the front loop is a bit hard to grab. Go through. Single crochet and 2 chains. So do this all around. So here I am, my chain 2 is done. So to close the trim off, I'm going to do a single crochet in the very first front loop from the beginning. And then you weave in the tail to finish it off. Both of mine are done. Before I sew the arms to the body, I will do the trim on the body, same way. On row 41, right on the bottom here, we do have front loops as well. And we're going to do the exact same thing as we did for the arm. And since it is the exact same thing, you can go ahead and do those. The trims are on the arm and the trims on the bottom hasn't completed. So this is how it looks like. The next step is to attach the arms. Now the way that I like to go about it is to take pins and pin the arms where I want it. Make sure it's where approximately looking great. And the next step is to sew the arms on. So I go over in the first stitch, and then I go across right underneath as much as I can. Like this. So what I'm going to do is I want to grab the stitches, if I can show you, in this row, only in this row, not everywhere. So basically my stitches, when I grab underneath, it'll be in this row. So let's go back to the same stitch of the arm that I was doing. Like this, so that seems to be secure. So I'm going to do under again. I do under, over, across, and then in this one, this. And then I continue. And then there's lots of ways you can sew this, but this is one of the ways that I do it. I can actually start removing some of the pins because the arm will not go away. Okay, make sure I steady the arm, look where I'm at, and then continue. And if you want to, you can actually go do a second pass. That's going to be fine. So the way that I secure my yarn, I go underneath the arm and I just go through the stitches like this. So once I believe the yarn is secure enough, I just cut, and my first arm is done. There you go, my first arm. So now I need to do the second one, and that's going to be the end of this video. Now the next video, what I'm going to create is the hat, and there will be trim around the hat. Also, I will be adding the face on. Eyes, nose, maybe a mouth, we will see. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.